Two friends start the same job on the same day, same salary. 10 years later, one's sipping coffee at home on a Tuesday morning, the other's drowning in debt. How? In The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel reveals the truth. Wealth isn't just about math. It's about behavior, shaped by your past, your emotions, and the risks you take. Welcome to Read with Joy, where we dig out the most powerful lessons from life-changing books. Today we're breaking down the first 10 chapters, with stories of risk, greed, freedom, and the quiet magic of patience. You'll hear from Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Jack Ma, Natarajan Chandrasekaran, Azim Premji, and more. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. No one's crazy. Ever seen someone make a money decision that made you think, what were they thinking? Turns out, they weren't crazy at all. Because we all play the money game with the rules our own life has taught us. What's logical for one person can seem insane to another. Take Warren Buffett and Elon Musk. Buffett, shaped by the Great Depression, built his wealth by avoiding big risks. He invests in predictable businesses, holds cash, and skips fast-moving trends like tech startups because caution feels safe to him. Musk, on the other hand, grew up embracing risk. He put his last dollar into Tesla and SpaceX when both companies were near collapse. For him, betting big on the future felt logical, because boldness is what he knows. Their paths are completely different, yet both became wildly successful. Their decisions aren't crazy, they just reflect different life experiences. Lesson: everyone plays the money game using rules their own life has taught them. Chapter 2. Luck and Risk. Why do some smart, hardworking people still fail while others seem to win easily? Because success isn't just about effort. It's also about being lucky enough to avoid risk at the wrong time. What looks like genius might just be timing, and what looks like failure might just be misfortune. Consider Jack Ma, once a struggling teacher, built Alibaba into a global tech empire. His rise seemed like a perfect story of grit and brilliance. But in 2020, after criticizing Chinese regulators, his fintech company Ant Group's IPO was suddenly halted. He vanished from public view, and his influence sharply declined. Jack Ma's success was real, but it was also helped by timing and luck. And his downfall wasn't stupidity, but a reminder that risk can strike anyone, no matter how smart. Lesson He: success and failure are shaped not just by skill, but also by timing and chance. Chapter 3. Never Enough. Why do some people risk everything even after they've already won? Because chasing more can cloud our sense of what's enough. Without limits, success can quickly turn into self-destruction. Ramalinga Raju, founder of Satyam Computers, built one of India's leading IT companies and earned respect as a visionary entrepreneur. By the mid-2000s, Satyam was booming, employing thousands and listed on global stock exchanges. Raju had already won by most standards: wealth, reputation, and industry impact. But instead of stopping, he pushed further, manipulating accounts to inflate profits and maintain the illusion of endless growth. His desire for more, to outpace competitors and maintain stock prices, drove his actions. This ultimately led him to commit India's biggest corporate fraud at the time. In 2009, Raju confessed to falsifying financial statements, erasing decades of credibility overnight. The empire he built came crashing down, not because he wasn't successful, but because he didn't know when enough was enough. Lesson: knowing when to stop is the hardest and most valuable financial skill. Pause for a second. When you think about your financial life so far, how much of it was skill, and how much was timing? Chapter 4. Confounding Compounding. Why does slow progress often feel like no progress? Because compounding works quietly, then suddenly. What seems small today can become massive if given time. When Natarajan Chandrasekaran joined TCS in 1987 as a trainee, the company was relatively unknown outside India. Over the next 2 decades, he avoided aggressive or flashy moves. Instead, he focused on building capabilities, strengthening client relationships, and improving delivery systems. As he rose through the ranks to become CEO, TCS quietly compounded in revenue, employee strength, and global reputation. By the time Chandrasekaran became chairman of Tata Sons, TCS had already become a global IT giant. It wasn't built on sudden breakthroughs, but on decades of steady, compounding growth under his leadership. Chandrasekaran's journey and TCS's rise prove that consistency and long-term thinking often outperform speed. Lesson: small, consistent actions quietly create massive results over time. Chapter 5. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. Why do some people lose wealth just as fast as they earn it? Because the mindset needed to build wealth is not the same as the one needed to keep it. Getting rich takes boldness, but staying rich takes humility, caution, and restraint. Vijay Mallya made big wealth through his liquor business and Kingfisher Airlines. But the same risky approach didn't help him in the long run. He kept taking risks instead of protecting his money. He was good at making wealth, but not at keeping it, and that made all the difference. Lesson: building wealth takes boldness. Keeping it takes humility and caution. Pause here and think about your own money habits. Are they about growth or about protection? And do you know when to switch between the two? Chapter 6. Tails You Win. Why do a few rare wins matter more than everything else? Because success often comes from a small number of big wins, not constant wins. In business and investing, a few lucky breakthroughs can outweigh dozens of failures. In the 1990s, Sanjeev Bikhchandani saw many failures, like Suhit Tech, a medical transcription company that didn't work out. But with Naukri.com, he proved the idea of tails you win. One big success can wipe out many losses. That win also opened doors to 99 Acres, Zomato, and Policy Bazaar. His story shows that you only need to be right once. Lesson: a few big wins can outweigh countless failures. Chapter 7. Freedom. If money is the goal, why do so many wealthy people still feel unhappy? Because real wealth isn't just about having more, it's about having control over your time and choices. Freedom to do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, is the highest form of wealth. Ananya had a high-paying job but no time for herself or family. When she quit to freelance, she earned less but found real freedom to live and work her way. True freedom, she realized, is having control over your own life. It's the freedom to live life the way you choose. Ananya didn't get richer in numbers, but she became truly wealthy in time and control. Lesson to true wealth is the ability to control your time and choices. Chapter 8. Man in the Car Paradox. Why do we buy expensive things to impress people who barely notice us? Because we think owning status symbols will earn us respect, but people admire the object, not the owner. Real influence comes from who you are, not what you own. Azim Premji, one of India's richest individuals and the former chairman of Wipro, lived a life that defied the usual markers of wealth. Despite his billions, he was known for his simple lifestyle, driving a modest car, flying economy, and staying in budget hotels during business trips. While others chased luxury for recognition, Premji quietly focused on building value and giving back to society. He never relied on flashy possessions to earn respect. Instead, his humility, philanthropy, and leadership earned him admiration far greater than any luxury car ever could. Lesson: respect comes from who you are, not what you own. Now, before next chapter, ask yourself, are you spending to show off, or building something that truly earns respect? Chapter 9. Wealth is what you don't see. If someone looks rich, does that mean they actually are? Because wealth is often silent. It's the money not spent, not shown. What we see is consumption, but real wealth is what's saved and invested. Savitri Jindal, one of India's richest women, lives a simple and low-key life. She shows that real wealth is not what you show, but what you quietly keep and grow. True wealth is measured by stability and impact, not by flashy spending. Lesson show: real wealth is the money you don't spend and don't show. Chapter 10, Save Money. Why should I save money if I'm not saving for anything specific? Because saving is not just for goals, it's for freedom, flexibility, and the unexpected. Having money saved gives you options, security, and peace of mind when life changes. Dinesh, co-founder of Infosys, always lived simply and saved money, even when the company was struggling. His savings gave him security in tough times, and later the freedom to leave Infosys and focus on philanthropy. This shows that saving money gives you real freedom when needed. Lesson: saving gives you freedom and flexibility, even without a specific goal. That's part 1 of The Psychology of Money. Read this along with 40 other life-changing book summaries at www.readwithjoy.in or email us for a physical copy. We saw that Buffett shows discipline, Musk boldness, and Jack Ma luck, while Raju reminds us that enough matters and Chandrasekaran proves compounding wins. Malia warns with caution, Bikhchandani shows one win changes life, and Premji, Jindal, and Dinesh highlight humility, silence, and savings. These stories all show one truth: cautious boldness, big wins, humility, and smart savings pave the way to lasting success. In Part 2, we'll uncover the money traps even the wealthy fall into, and the rare habits that make wealth last for generations. Since you've listened till the end, here is a question for you. Which story inspired you the most? And are your money choices guided by wisdom and patience, or driven by emotion and the pressure to keep up? Share your answer in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching from Read with Joy. See you in Part 2.